Okay, so welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today you've got Gemma Donnelly here,
Hi.
who's come all the way from sunny Marple and is a coach, and we'll delve into that in more detail. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So what's he doing at the moment? What do you do?
My work.
Yeah.
So I obviously am a coach. I work with busy professionals, business owners and parents. So I help them heal, release stress and anxiety and embody real confidence and resilience.
Right.
So they can feel as good as their life looks, basically.
Yeah. So how did you get into that?
It was a bit of a long journey, to be honest.
Yeah.
My background before was in corporate, so I was initially in law, and obviously I've retrained since then, and loads of things to do with the mind body. But my journey initially started out in that, and I was working in one of the top law firms in the world and experienced burnout. And at the time, I didn't even know what anxiety was, and I just thought I had nerves, but I had it really bad, and that really impacted my confidence as well. So I say at that point, that's when my real self-development journey started, and I started learning more about the mind body from then to understand myself at a deeper level, and that really helped my career and myself. I was more bothered then about my own well-being because I had experienced such a challenging time at that stage. So I moved out of the law firm into insurance for a brief gap and was sent to one of their top clients, which is a construction company, managing in-house legal, then went on to manage people development, and alongside that I was on my own self-development journey. So then I retrained in everything that helped me, basically. My mum had passed away and I wanted to do something that really mattered to me on a much deeper level. It was no longer driven by achievement, I was driven by what mattered to me at the depths and the core of me. And I knew that coaching and many other modalities that I'm trained in now had really changed my life for the better. And so I became very, very passionate about that and retrained, and I've been doing what I do now for over 5 years.
Yeah.
So I love it.
So you've got a fantastic accent, and it's not local to Stockport.
No, it's
or Northwest. So obviously Northern Ireland.
Yeah, from County Antrim.
How did you make your way over from what happened? Obviously you must have graduated, and was that over here or? Yeah.
No, I went to uni in Belfast called Queen's, and then I was very much in a traditional route. So I had in my head, I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. So I came over to do a solicitor's course over here. So I'd be here be in Manchester for a year or two, and then move on. And I've been here for nearly 16 years.
Yeah.
But at the time, Manchester was just a cheaper London, to be honest. I was a student and obviously had no money, hadn't even been in Manchester before I moved here, arrived with 2 suitcases, and here I am, nearly 16 years later.
Was there much difference? I mean, you must have been quite young at the time.
I was 21. I thought Manchester was massive. I thought it was so huge. I couldn't get over it. And I remember thinking, I am never going to be able to find my way around here. It's so big. But I love meeting new people, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to move. I had a great group of friends, especially at university and stuff, but I love people, and I thought I'll not really meet new kinds of people or different people if I stay here in the realms of my own comfort. So that was one of the main driving factors of moving. I love new experiences and adventures, and that definitely was one, since I'd never even been here before the day I moved.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Takes a bit of confidence to do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think when you're younger, you maybe have blind faith and courage that in some ways kind of can get stripped out of you as you grow up through life and have different life experiences. But then, that's why you use different mind body tools to cultivate that and bring that back. But yeah, it was definitely courageous at the time.
Yeah. And so you talk about, you mentioned burnout. Obviously I have an awareness of the legal profession. I know it's, it can be a badge of honour to be last out of the office, and it's hard work to be good. And you have to work hard to get yourself there, and then that's when the work begins. Tell us a bit about that kind of, I don't want to say the word journey, but the process through that. When did you think, or was it that made you think, I'm burnt out here, or I'm tired, or?
Honestly, there was one day I was in the office and I was being sick in the toilets with anxiety. I physically vomited, and that had never happened to me before.
Right.
And at the time I didn't know what anxiety was, and I just thought I had nerves.
Yeah.
But I thought, this mustn't be right. This is not good now. But from the outside, high functioning anxiety means everything looks great. So from the outside, nobody would have known, or certainly not that I was aware of. And I hadn't spoke to anybody about it. I would have had a lot of shame that had I done that there would have meant that there was something wrong with me. So that was a real turning point for me, and I thought, this is just not right. And at that time I was really, really driven by climbing a ladder at whatever cost, and it was costing me my whole health, but also myself. Like my confidence was at an all-time low, and I was so insistent that I had to make the promotion that I'd worked so hard for, that I didn't care about anything else in terms of my own health and well-being. But then when I got to that point, nothing mattered more to me than my own health and well-being. So it really changed, and I was no longer then driven by what I thought was achievement, but really, there was obviously stuff going on beneath the surface, and that's what kick-started my journey. I had this insatiable feeling that I needed to prove myself, and that meant I had to achieve certain things, when really I had to go on my own journey that then started. Because I was interested in self-development before then, I'd read books before that, but it was more about how do I achieve certain things, as opposed to how do I create a foundation of wellness to support me, creating the life that I want, or feeling confident in who I really am, as opposed to who I thought I needed to be.
Yeah. I remember when I graduated, I went into recruitment, and it's quite an intensive environment that I loved at first. And then suddenly I started to not be well, and was highly stressed, and had this kind of built up a phobia of getting on the phone. And it's weird at the time, because I'd never experienced anything like that before. Yeah. And there's a bloke who's always done okay and done well, and been quite good at things. You're like, I don't know how to deal with this, or who to talk to, because you talk to a boss, you don't want them to think you're weak. Yeah. Or you don't want to lose your job. You bring attention to yourself in a negative way, do you? Yeah. So I can empathise with that moment where you're like, I don't know what to do now. Yeah. And I ended up just getting another job and running away from it, rather than dealing with what was going on. Talk to us about that kind of area then. So you obviously go through a completely different kind of path then into the kind of wellness industry and self-development and things like that. Were you thinking of it being a job and a different way of earning a living at the time? Or?
No, everything in terms of self-development was for me initially. So my own personal journey with that was how do I develop myself on a personal level. I was obviously still thinking about professional career whenever I was going through my own personal journey that was very much about me. And And obviously then I was in consultancy, managing in-house legal, people development as well.
Yeah.
I moved into that. But when I retrained, that was when I got honest with myself that was my true passion. So I had built up a very successful career elsewhere, and I had to obviously leave that behind to then go on and do what I do. So initially when I was retraining, I was still working in consultancy. So I retrained in coaching, hypnotherapy, integral eye movement therapy, breath work, and it became trauma informed. I had lost my mum, and I wanted to understand how to release the impact of trauma in the mind body as well. So initially my journey into self-development was for myself, and then when it changed my life, I wanted to make other people feel how I felt. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell, really.
So how's that work now with what you do now? In what ways do you help people?
So I coach mostly, so one-to-one coaching, and then I also provide breathwork and hypnotherapy as part of it's called the Self Club, so an online group, which is lovely.
Yeah.
So I blend both modalities. It helps people release stress and anxiety from the mind and body, and it heals the body at a cellular level. So combining both is obviously powerful. It's gentle yet powerful, and transformative. It's very accessible to everybody, but coaching is what I do mainly. So one-to-one coaching with people that are wanting to understand themselves at a deeper level, perhaps like I was, have high functioning anxiety, want to release that from their body, want to heal, release stress and anxiety, and learn how to feel confident in who they really are.
Breathwork's really fascinating to me, especially from a biological level and the effects it has on the body. And I got into it when my son was very small and he wasn't sleeping at all, and I started to function in the office, and found like cold showers and breath work really a real help, and the byproduct of that was finding it very useful for controlling nerves. And if I was giving a speech or a presentation, and not having that anxiousness beforehand, and just going and doing it, and I thought, wow, this is a bit of a superpower. I think useful for other people if they.
It's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Especially, for public speaking, some of my clients, that's a big fear for a lot of people. So there can be panic attacks in relation to that I help through. I was working with a client earlier on this year who does public speaking as part of his business, and he's really good at it and he's very confident in it, but this particular opportunity created a lot of anxiety for him because it had the potential to change things for him and his family massively. It was a massive opportunity. Whilst he was very confident, we had already booked in our call, and he was starting to go on have a panic attack because it was just before he was about to go on stage for this, and we completely changed that. So we went from about to have a panic attack, if not in the middle of a panic attack, at the start of our scheduled call, just before he went on, being totally fine, breezy, and it went really well, and it was very successful. But I think that sometimes you think it's just about what's going on in the mind, but it's also about what's going on in the nervous system as well. So it's about working with both. So that's why I have a mind-body approach, and it is powerful.
I found it with. I watched the film Rush the other week, and it's about a true story about Formula One, and James Hunt would regularly be physically sick before he got in the car, and I found it fascinating that the mentality of being ready to perform when it matters, and what you have to go through to get that, whether it's going on a stage. As a comedian or an actor, or you're performing in the sports field, or you're in a boardroom with people, or perhaps it's just delivering bad news to people. There's a lot of contacts recently that have been going through redundancy processes and having to make a lot of people redundant.
Yeah.
That's the most heartbreaking thing in the world, I think.
Well,
really.
yeah, exactly.
It creates a lot of anxiety before each call.
And the sleep as well, like I'm sure that's definitely impacts people's sleep the night before delivering that news and even after, because you're thinking about them, their families, the residual impact of all of that. Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
When it comes to that kind of thing, because this is kind of catered towards business owners, you know, is there any advice you give someone who is suffering from anxiety at the moment in that way?
I'd say don't think that you need to deal with that on your own. I wish that I didn't let probably pride when I was younger get in my way and felt that I needed to do it all on my own when I really didn't. And I would say go to someone who's actually specialised in that. For me, I had done things like traditional therapy before, counselling where you're just speaking, but I really wanted to understand how I could help myself. And I think the main difference with coaching is that it's about self-empowerment and learning tools and techniques to help yourself, as well as having someone to support and understand what's going on within you. I think in that moment when you're really, really anxious, basically the thinking part of the brain, the part that can make decisions, is inactive. It goes offline and you're working off the emotional centre, so you literally don't have the capacity to think straight, and that's no reflection upon you, it's how the brain actually works. So it's about working with someone who understands that and then can help you regulate and heal your nervous system, so to quieten the busy mind and help you think straight.
From a nervous system point of view, I don't understand. I don't have much knowledge about that and how it works and things like that.
So our nervous system, there's the interplay between our mind and our body the whole time. There's 80% of information that comes from the body up to the brain, so from the nervous system right up to the brain. So when we have a busy mind, that anxious, fearful thoughts and worries, or when we think about the worst case scenario or what might be going wrong, you know, if you're working with the nervous system, you're working with 80% of that information that's fueling your brain. So it's really helpful then to connect with what's going on in your body. So when you have chronic anxiety or high functioning anxiety, chances are that's going to be presenting in your body. So you might have tension in your shoulders, like when people say, I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders, quite literally, it does feel that way. Tension in your jaw, grinding your teeth at night time. You might have pain in the back of your head, in your gut, digestive issues, lower back pain. It can be presenting in a number of areas. So when you work with the nervous system, you're changing what's going on in the body and the mind by working directly with that. Whenever you're directly impacting and influencing the mind, you're working with 20% of what's going on. So it's a top-down approach, so you're changing what's going on in the mind to influence what's going on in the body. So you can work with the body to change what's going on in the mind, and you can also directly impact what's happening in the mind to influence the body. But it's one continuous flow of information. And when you tap into the nervous system as well as the mind, that's how you access your personal power, so that anxiety doesn't need to control you.
Fascinating, isn't it?
I love it. I could talk about it all day.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting for me, like how you can have an effect. You know, if you think of it as a car or a car engine, you know, you need to do certain things to keep it running nicely and smoothly, and sometimes, something breaks, and it's knowing how to fix it, isn't it? The body. I know.
One of my clients said to me recently, she's like, it's like I'm running this car, but I don't know the health of it. You know, how long is this going to last if I can continue going at this speed or pace? And it's so right. You know, you wouldn't have a car, you wouldn't invest in, say, a really nice car anyway, and never take it for an MOT or never take it for a service or never check how much petrol's left in the tank. So I think your body works exactly the same way.
Yeah. had Pete Ackley on, who's a high-level leader within sporting organisations like the FA and ECB, and he said, sometimes, especially in the business world, it's a badge of honour to have a full calendar full of meetings all day.
Yeah.
And he said, if you're a high-performing athlete, you would take time to recover.
Yeah.
And you would stretch, and you make sure you'd eat well, and you would, to make sure that the next performance you're there. And it's the same in a meeting. And how much do people actually take time to review what they've done and what they need to do then to be ready for the next day or week or whatever it is. Yeah.
I know. I think with that, and I work with some athletes too, I think the challenge is, certainly with business owners as well, is they feel that if they're not doing something, that they should be doing something. So that's that pressure of not feeling like they can rest or switch off. But even having the ability to, if your mind is constantly on go, 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 whenever you step away from that, it doesn't feel safe. Like it, in the sense that you're like, I must do this, I really should do that, because the nervous system is wired for action, and it doesn't then feel safe for your mind body to switch off. It doesn't actually have that capacity. So that's why you're retraining the mind body, working with the brain and the body, so that it actually feels okay to rest. Otherwise, it's not going to feel comfortable, and it doesn't feel enjoyable unless you actually retrain the mind body to allow that in. So that literally then you can perform in a way that you want to.
Do you ever get any clients that are scared to slow down because they feel like they have to be at that in that state to even function and live with everything? Yeah,
absolutely, a lot of the time. But then they also know that they can't keep going in that way, or there's only going to be the crash, literal crash of themselves, like the car analogy that you mentioned. And it's also, they want more joy. They want more joy and connection in their lives, in their relationships, and with themselves. And sometimes you can have all the things in the world, but it's about other things, memories, and being able to switch off and be present with your family, with your kids, and feel that that's enjoyable and that you can do that.
Yeah. Interesting. So going from the legal world to coaching, there's different skills involved.
Yeah.
How was the transition from?
I love it. Yeah. I really do believe in my core I was always meant to be doing this. I even knew myself deep down. I think way before I retrained, I had bought various books in relation to that. I've been reading self-development books since I was a child, and I'm naturally a people person. So, I think I was very conditioned before I went down a very traditional path of what I thought was success or what I should be doing. I got certain grades, but now I'm definitely doing what's aligned with me and who I really am.
Do you think there's something from your previous role, a career, that a skill that made you good at that actually makes you quite good at doing this now?
I think the main thing is the fact that when people work in high pressured environments, I know exactly what that's like, or if people are wanting to change career, or if they've kind of got to the top of the ladder and they realise that ladder's maybe not the one that they want to be on. I can totally resonate with that. Helping people find their purpose and passion again. So that's the main thing I really understand when people come to me, whether it be with high functioning anxiety or feeling a lack within their current life. I can understand how that feels.
Yeah. I love that, the thought of two very different careers, but actually the similarities in the aspects of it, because you can be in the same career but get promoted, and that'd be completely different. And the skill set that you need to manage people, and compared to the selfishness of maybe doing your own stuff. Whereas you can go to a completely different career and it'd be really similar. And it can make you good at what you do. I love that when it comes to people and their lives and what they do. What kind of interests you outside of work, and and all that, is it?
For me personally, I like singing.
Yeah.
I like dancing and boxing, but like I don't like being hit, so I like to punch a punch bag. And I like hiking. So nature's my favorite thing. I have a little dog who's my best friend. So taking him on a big walk into the countryside and going for a coffee is one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing to do. So yeah, that's my best thing really. Traveling, of course, but on a day-to-day, going for a walk. Coffee.
It's amazing how good you feel after being out in the country, and how relaxed, you know, after a walk, and you come back and you're like, oh, I feel tired. That's relaxed,
I know.
You know. It's you feel healthy. Well, there's lots of places to do that around the northwest as well.
Exactly, so it's good for the soul.
A good part of the world for that. I'm jumping here, there, and everywhere at the moment. But so when clients come to you, do they have an idea of the outcome they want? And
some do, some don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, I work with people who are really focused and they know exactly what they want to do, whether they're wanting to make a change in their career, advance that in some way, or whether they're wanting to make a change in their relationships and with themselves. Other times they feel stuck and they want assistance with that, and I love that. I love both. I think empowering people is what literally gives me life. Like, I feel amazing from doing it. It's the best job in the world. So yeah, some people absolutely know what they want and they're looking for guidance with that. They like that I have a blended approach. So, you know, I do lots of things with the mind body, and I can blend them in a way that works exactly for them. So some people know and some people don't. They just know that maybe they're feeling a certain way that they would rather not feel, or they want to work through. People that are driven usually want to progress in some way.
Are there any commonalities in terms of the breakthroughs that people have when they go through the kind of process with it all?
They learn stuff about themselves that they didn't realise. So we all have blind spots, so it's called within our unconscious awareness. So things that are holding us back.
Yeah.
And so they become aware of them and work through them. So not only kind of do they work on the stuff that they came to me initially for, but it positively impacts other areas of their life. And usually if they're parents, they will go on and teach them, their children, things that they've learned with me, and the ripple effect is great. So I love that.
Yeah. So you've been doing this quite a few years. Is there any, if you think back to starting it, would there be any advice you give yourself? Because you're a business owner as well now, you know, and you do go through different avenues of what works and what doesn't, and things like that. Is there anything, what have you learned over those years?
To not do everything yourself is probably the main thing. To get support from people that are specialists in that thing. For example, I would never trust me with IT, you know, I shouldn't be head of IT. So like working with people, and even say yourself with like SEO, that's fantastic. Like marketing was never my background, still isn't, and coaching is my choice. So if you're a business owner, you're usually doing the thing that you absolutely love, or well, for me, that it's absolutely what I love. And so getting the right support to do all the other elements of the business, or to teach you in those elements so that you know, are using your time wisely is definitely something I would encourage my past self to do, for sure. For sure. Yeah,
sometimes there's cash flow kind of limits on what you can do, and it's nice at some point when you go, okay, I need some help with this.
I think, you know, when you are asking more of yourself, you're demanding more of yourself, certainly as a business, when you are spreading yourself in so many different directions. Literal mass is like, you can't expect a greater output without a greater input. So think about how you can resource yourself to do all of those things. You know, are you actually looking after yourself? So creating a foundation of what from a place of wellness is obviously going to help.
Yeah. And so if people are looking to engage with you for what you do, how does that process work?
Usually they'll hear about me from someone, or they'll come across my website, or Instagram, LinkedIn. They'll book on a call, and we'll have a free consultation, half an hour, I don't mind. They'll get a feel for myself, which I think is really important. You know, it's a personal service. So usually people will offer consultations for free. Some people have a charge. Mine's is free. Go have a feel for the person. See if you think, actually, this can help me. Ask some questions. Don't feel like, sometimes I think people will come to a consultation and they'll feel a little bit apprehensive, but they should realise that, you know, they're in the driving seat. So if you come and interview me, do you know what I mean? see if I'm the right fit for you, and then book in, so they can do a half day, a VIP day, you know, 3-month program, or, you know, join the self clubs. So there's different ways to work with me, and sometimes people want something bespoke, and I do that as well. So whatever they want, but yeah.
So what does the future hold for you in business?
I just honestly love to help change lives one at a time. That is my truth. So that's what it looks like for me. So making an impact on a much deeper level, continue to do that. Living aligned with my purpose. That is literally it. So, yeah. Living
life with purpose it seems to be coming into my world quite a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it a lot. It seems to be everywhere I look.
Yeah.
It's funny how things like that, you know, come around and get back to the purpose of why you're doing things, and why it does give a lot of energy and direction in what you're doing, doesn't it? Yeah.
I think it's intentional living. I don't think it necessarily has to come from your job. My business is my purpose, but I don't think that it needs to be. For a lot of people have purpose way outside of work. So I think a lot of the time now I see that people are saying that your work has to be your purpose, and I really don't believe that it is. A lot of people get purpose from just being who they are, and I feel like that comes from living in alignment with your real self, as opposed to, you know, wearing a mask. So being authentically yourself, expressing yourself fully, and living with intention. So I think that's purposeful in itself. So yeah, living with intention.
Amazing. That's a very good place to stop it there. A good clip as well. Thanks for coming on, Jen.
Thanks for
really
having
interesting.
me. Thank you.
And could listen to your voice all day.
Oh, that's kind.
If anyone wants to get hold of Gemma, we'll put everything on the description on the YouTube and Spotify and Amazon Music and all that kind of stuff. And definitely recommend having a chat.
Thank you.
Oh, good.